So, it's a beautiful sunny day and you want to go out for a walk. And if you're like me, you love taking photos when you're out. And you love taking photos at family events and all sorts of things. But sometimes, the people in the photos don't give you their consent or are too young to give consent. How do you solve that problem? Do you spend hours masking their faces manually? No. Today we're going to talk about MaskerAid by Casey Liss, a wonderful new app for iOS that automatically masks faces in your photos with rather cheeky emoji. So, after I've had a little paddle, let's take a look. So, when we're talking about consent in this context, I'm not necessarily talking about consent to take a photo, because you should always ask for that, really. Except, if you're in a public place, I guess my advice would always be use your judgment. But what I'm specifically talking about is consent or safety factors in posting those images to things like social media, be that Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, things like that. Now, I should clarify that MaskerAid is only for photos. The lovely sunglassy smiley face emoji that you saw in the intro was actually done through Final Cut Pro's motion tracking, which was added in the 10.6 releases. It's really cool, but that's not what we're looking at. So, MaskerAid is, as I said, by Casey Liss. Now, it's a free app, but it does have an in-app purchase, and I'll come to the in-app purchase once we take a look at the app. Now, in terms of sharing things to social media, why would you want to mask people's faces? Well, as I mentioned in the intro, it could be that we're talking about a young child. If that's your child, you may not want to share their image online. They're too young to consent. And it may come back to bite you in the future when they turn 18 and they're not particularly happy at all the images you've posted. I'm not a parent. I can't offer any legitimate advice in this area. But, use your own wisdom, folks. Come on. Anyway, there's other scenarios. Like, for example, protests. You might want to take a photo of a protest group, but you haven't asked all the people at the protest if they want their face in your social media. Or on a more serious note, you could be taking photos of a current conflict. Crosswires and myself, we stand with Ukraine. But if you're taking photos out in that conflict zone, you might want to protect the faces of those fighting. And of course, a suitable emoji would be appropriate. So, I filmed some footage of MaskerAid on my iPhone, and I'll walk you through that. Hopefully, all being well, it should appear over here. As you can see, we've got a lovely little icon. Now, I did ask Casey Liss on Twitter, is the name MaskerAid any sort of pun on the last 2 years of awfulness? He said, no, absolutely not. And in fact, Casey's got a wonderful story on his website about how he came up with the app, what the use case for him was, and a little bit more background. Okay, so once we open the app, we're greeted by the welcome screen. And as you can see, Casey's done a great job of making this such a simple app to understand. We've got these really intuitive controls that are explained at the start screen. Before we go and actually create an image, let's just have a quick look at the settings. You'll see that I've got thanks for your purchase. That's because I've purchased the in-app purchase that unlocks all the emoji. Now, without the in-app purchase, you only get the standard smiley face as your choice of emoji, and that might be all you need. If you want to unlock all the emojis, it's just £2.49 at the moment, or $3, and I think that's absolutely worth it. And as a little sneak peek to the Crosswires podcast, we're absolutely going to be talking about fairness in app pricing and why developers really do deserve your support. So, we can also change the default emoji once we've paid for that in-app purchase. And in this case, I'm going to choose the little innocent angel emoji for my default. So, with a few extra settings available, we're going to go back to the home page and create our first image. Now, here comes the first challenge. I want to demo this to you, but obviously I don't want to show you the faces of my friends or my family members. So how are we going to do this? Well, we're going to use stock imagery from Unsplash. Seriously, if you haven't used Unsplash and you are any kind of designer, check it out. I'll put a link in the description. It's free, royalty free, and it just works. It's fantastic. So, as you can see, I've chosen 3 stock images of people, and I've chosen 3 different scenes to kind of give MaskerAid a little bit of a test drive. So let's start with our first one, this top one, left one of these, this little small group gathering. As you can see, once we load up the image, MaskerAid is perfect. It actually puts the images on all 3 visible faces. The emoji cover the sort of main face components. once you tap on an emoji, you'll see we get this purple highlight. And what this does is this tells you which is the active emoji, which are you editing. I can change that, so let's change that to the starry eyes. My taste in emoji is appalling, I do apologise. Now, although you can't see my gestures, unfortunately I'm working to resolve this in my next video, pinch to zoom will enlarge the individual emojis. Oh, and we can rotate them as well. So, really nice touch interface. And there we go, we've got our image. So, if we want to share this off to social media or maybe send it a text message, we press the share button. Now, I've blurred this out, of course, because we don't want you to see my contacts. In this case, I've actually saved this to my photos. So, we're going to go on to the next image. To do that, just tap on the photo icon up at the top left, and we'll get an option basically asking us if we're sure we want to choose a new image. We're going to do that. So let's load up the next one. And you can see, of course, that we've now got our masqueraded photo in our photo library. So we're going to go on to the next one, which is our sort of nice group shot of friends all sat in a row. And we've got more faces for it to pick up. So let's choose this one. And here we go. You can see, yeah, it's done a perfect job again of picking up all 5 faces. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to change one again. So we've changed that for the live long and prosper symbol. Maybe not the best choice because it doesn't cover up all the face, but it's more to show you the flexibility. Now, if you want to add another emoji into the image, in this case, I kind of want something to say what this is about. You know, this could go onto my Instagram story. So we're going to insert a standard one by pressing plus, and then we're going to search through our emojis. Here we go. Let's have a nice camping scene. It looks like we've been camping or maybe on some sort of holiday. So we're going to do that, and we're just going to move that around, scale it up, and there we go. I really like the flexibility in this. Now, let's go on to our final image and see how MaskerAid does. This is a large group shot. Now, and after a few seconds, yeah, it's not done a great job. Now, this is not a reflection on Casey's work at all. I think, honestly, first of all, I'm giving it a challenging image with partial faces, blurred faces, but you can see how easy it is to just add another emoji to cover up faces. Because, of course, you may not want to cover up every face in an image. And that is MaskerAid. So, I think it's a wonderful, wonderful app. At £2.49 for the full version, it's absolutely worth it. If you take photos and you want to share them to social media and you don't necessarily want to share people's faces, but you do want to share your group shots, or you want to share those wonderful landscape shots, but you've unfortunately caught someone in, well, this is where this app comes in handy. Go and check it out on the App Store. So, thanks for watching. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at CrosswiresMG. Make sure you check out crosswires.net, where our podcast is going to be launching really soon. I've got some wonderful guests lined up for you and some great content coming along. And of course, there's a blog there as well. Now, it's powered by Substack, so you can sign up for the newsletter. We promise not to be annoying, and of course, if you do sign up, it's completely optional, and you can opt out at any point. And of course, if you've liked this video, we'd really appreciate a like, and make sure you hit that subscribe button, if you want to. Do check out our other videos, and thanks again for watching.